Hey, yeah. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about manufacturing consent, and this is something I wanted to point out before in other videos I've done, but I lost it while I was trying to do the video. And anyways, so manufacturing consent, propaganda, it's all one and the same. It's training. Uh, it's like that uh, old study of Pavlov's dog. This guy Pavlov. He was a monster. Because he check out Joe Scott on about about that. He did a video on it, so I won't get into it. Yeah, you got to go check out Joe Scott on Pavlov's dog video. Anyways, but in Pavlov's dog's study, Pavlov rang a bell, and he would get the dog start to drool and slobber, and because that was connected to food, and there were times that Pavlov rang the bell but didn't have any food, so and the dog would still drool, and how that translated into creating the same dynamic in humans. So understand, manufacturing content, Pavlov's dog, propaganda. It's all linked, and I'll give you some prime examples. So during Reagan's time, cops became a huge thing. All right, that is a Pavlovian manufacturing consent propaganda. Okay, it gave you a false sense of security, but it also targeted minorities. So it said in your mind, oh, the black people, the brown people, these people, that people, they're all. Then after progressively over the years, more and more shows like that started popping up, and then there came the whole thing in the '90s with the bounty hunter shows like Dog the Bounty Hunter and all sorts of other stuff. That was on the History Channel. That was on TLC. That was on a lot of TV entertainment, but it's propaganda. So then History Channel started doing things about the gangs and so on and so forth. So all of it It was getting everybody prepared, and also it played a key role in distracting people from paying attention to what was actually happening, along with the propaganda, lying, criminal media, not bringing up the things that actually matter, such as policies real policies that actually impact greater and greater proportions of Americans, as well as on the international front, or how corporations were throwing toxins and poisons on, or how super sites have been where they dump arsenic, other heavy metals, nuclear waste, and all sorts of other stuff. How they've been popping up all over the place, not anymore, and just in the poor and minority communities, but now it's starting to pop up in the lower to upper middle class areas. I talked about how I gave an example as in like as in Massachusetts around the Attleboro, Norton, Easton, um, uh, Eastern area, and how that's close to the reservoir, which gives drinking water which supplies drinking water to I believe about a dozen, almost a dozen towns and cities, um, and it's a water one of the big watersheds for and how that area is close. It has a lot of marshlands, and how that was all bleeding into the public drinking water, into the reservoirs, and getting into the underground aquifers, and so on. So these are the sort of stuff they often don't bring up, and if they do bring it up, it's a short one, or it's just a local, and it doesn't get national coverage. So, but like the story of Dow, how Dow knew that that they had created a unfilterable nanoparticle that was that would have harmful effects on the on living things, including people. Um, so they should have been just like how they didn't they didn't stay on with Monsanto, and they knew about Monsanto early on, but they didn't put it out. It's these big stories. There's a lot of big stories that people know about now, but they don't even know how truly bad it was, and it is still. And so you got that, or people don't even know how red tide or green algae came about. Most people don't understand that that's excessive use of nitrogen fertilizer and other stuff that does help agriculturally grow things, but too much of a good thing has bad effects. I remember first saying about it was like, and it sounded like they had no clue what the hell why it was suddenly popping up, but they knew why red tide was happening. They know now what green algae bloom and the cause of it. They've known about it, but they only started talking about it when people who knew about it started talking about it, and they couldn't ignore it. And this is the propaganda. This is the lie, because they don't cover things. And why? Because we've had an explosion of since the cable industry first started up, and it's only gotten worse. And not that even the media we had before, they were still controlled, but they were still controlled and owned by people who had who were in the upper middle class, or in the who already had wealth, who already had vast amounts of wealth, or those who were able to get bribe or influence those with the power to give them licensing and ownership and all that other stuff. So whether you're talking about the Boston Herald and the Boston Globe, or you're talking about about the a small a small print. Many of them don't cover. They call them small, but they're not. Like oftentimes you hear telegraph, and you notice that the telegraphs have different names, and then they call it so and so telegraph. But they all have a connection, and it's usually down to somebody and so they often won't cover it. It's really the no-name places from small that's owned by a group of people that aren't already super wealthy, who hire actual journalistic investigators, and it's because they have proven that they can find out things, and they can give you a step by step on how they found it, and they can back it up. And those are the places that have the real journalists, and they don't. And a lot of them didn't have college degrees in journalism for it. Those are the elitist bourgeois. I want to be part of the criminal outfits called the wealthy, and called the journalists, the bourgeois, lying, two-faced motherfucking assholes who are actually nothing more than glorified pandering criminals, con men, con artists. So, real journalism is done by real people who know right from wrong, who sniff out things and know how to sniff them out. So, but that's not what we've been getting. We've been getting an increase, and this is not something new. As I said, I always say this is not something new. This is always something that's been done a lot. And so this, I mean, of course, we had Shark Tank. We had that show about the corporate bosses, the CEOs going to work, and that's all propaganda. That's all BS. That's all crap. That's manufactured consent. That's, oh, look at what's so good, but then it's also a distraction, because behind the scenes, that the media, who's supposed to be covering this shit, who aren't journalists, they're just corporate, they're just criminal stooges who want a chance to be like them. They'll, it's like when they did the whole, I want to be like Mike. Well, basically, what these corporate criminal so-called journalists and those in the industry, in the big industry, they're like, I want to be just like Trump. I want to be just like Nancy Pelosi. I want to be just like Chuck Schumer. I want to be just like Jamie Dimon. I want to be just like Betsy DeVos. I want to be just like Steve Mnuchin. I want to be just like all the fucking big-ass criminals. The ones that all should be in jail. That we could actually clear out. We could actually clear out like 95% of everybody that's in jail right now, because those people are have more than likely been put in jail for because of the rigged, skewed things that these criminals have done, or have put in as patsies for something that they did, or somebody they knew that that's part of the criminal organization, the big government mafia, and the big corporate mafia, and the big media mafia, and all those. So, the jails, 95% of the jails should be cleared out. About about probably somewhere between 85 and 90% of the so-called police in this country should be fired and put in jail, and definitely all of the FBI, all of Homeland Security, all of the DOD, all of the NSA, all of a good portion of the. It's like, these are all the people that should be in jail. So 95% they should be put in. They should be taken out, and all these politicians and judges and all, a lot of these people belong in jail, and the keys should be thrown away. And we need a revolution, and we need a revolution where we come out packing, and we tell them, this is the way it's going to be. You're gonna do as we dictate, and you're gonna do it now, or we're gonna blow your fucking head off. Right here, right now, no if, no ands, or buts. That is what we need. No more pussyfooting around. No more being distracted. No more buying into the BS. No more playing by the rules of the rule makers. I don't particularly like to consider myself an idiot. Because when we continue to do that, we're playing ourselves as simpletons and idiots and fools. And nobody likes to be considered that. And yet we're being taken. I've said it before. We are governed by casino style government. House always wins. We have social leaders playing that part as well. Casino socialism. There is so much done by so few that we are standing by idling and taking it in the chin and taking it up the ass. Too busy about our immediate, when we should be coming together and ready to shove a fucking bazooka up these fucking people's asses and fucking blowing them away.